أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Dear participators, I am Associate Professor Hussein Pamuk at Afyon Kocatepe University, Faculty of Tourism, Gastronomy and Culinary Arts Department. I'm working as faculty member and for about 10 years. I'm carrying out studies at doctorate and I get specialization in this area. I basically choose to work at this branch as I wanted, academician. The reason I'm here today is to tell you about the halal tourism market in Turkey and have a themed talk. What is tourism? When we look at tourism and peoples, in fact, they are constantly moving away from where they live, travel and the places they go for temporary accommodation, for travel recreation, eating, transportation, and so on. Your needs is opposite in some directions in recent times. Meet your wishes, the sets of basically tourism needs during travel for main reasons until today, especially modern tourism. Activities started in the mid-19th century and it continues to evolve to this day. In this modern tourism activities, people relax, have fun, seeing new places, and they are basically traveling all over the world. What we call modern tourism today. And basically today, modern tourism today, it's fulfilling your dreams for maybe trade purposes or health purposes or from somewhere to travel. And in our today's world, how modern tourism continues to develop, it's another complete subject. So why it is developing so much is because of free time and work paid vacation could be one of the options. Technological developments increase the income level, urbanization and population growth. The tourism awareness is getting higher and higher. With the increase in the level of culture and education and similar developments to present day keep increasing. So the tourism keeps increasing. We see that there is a movement, what we talk in tourism, while tourists travel around the world. Today's figure is 1.3 billion. And in just 5 years, it will reach to 1.8 billion people. So tourism is a wide spectrum in today's world. And when we look at tourism discounts, global competition, as in all matters, it necessitates differentiation and renewal in tourism sector. For this reason, I'd like to talk about halal tourism today. So what's inside and implements many tourism trends? One of these trends is halal tourism. In other words, countries with large Muslim populations, whether or not intense, let there be countries you are in a race to attract Muslim tourists. Once again, it doesn't really matter you are a Muslim country or non-Muslim country. So what is halal tourism? Where is tourism? It's accommodation, traveling, steering wheel, meeting, transportation, and similar needs, especially in tourism. This situation compliant with this full compliance with Islamic rules and beliefs is needed, basically. And there are some tourism activities there, so it all should be and just have to be halal in that under Islamic values especially. And compliance with Islamic rules should be in place in all services, including in halal tourism. It's also considered as the whole of touristic products and marketing efforts aimed at Muslims. It can be defined as Meram. When we look at the global Muslim population, global penetration, it's 2 billion Muslim people we're talking about. And of course it gets wider and wider all over the world. And when we are looking at the flight radius, it's like 400 million outside of Turkey. Muslims live, and this is our country in all trade areas, halal related issues. It's a strategic advance for us to be able to foster and promote halal tourism in Turkey as well. When we look at this way, there are the prices, a place far from Istanbul, access to halal food, infrastructure, Ramadan services, recreational opportunity within privacy limits, purified from activities contrary to Islamic faith, such as alcohol and gambling. An environment is like this. Unfortunately, in Turkey, it's really, really hard to find such places. So, when we look at this way, modern tourism activities have emerged, but of course, it continues to increase due to the items I just mentioned. So I wonder if the tourists are Muslim. What are the first figures we have about Muslim tourists? Key figures about Muslim tourists, because Muslim tourists are actually from tourism activities, that is, to benefit from this modern tourism activities, they're becoming light. What's the mass in that case? It's also really important. So, basically, within the framework of rules and beliefs in the Muslim attractions in halal tourism, they gotta meet the standards of Islamic values. When you go on tourism activities, a Muslim worries that he won't be able to afford it. It goes on like this for a while, and that's a really problematic situation. And it's kind of really widely known for modern tourism activities. But when we come to today, where are Muslim tourists? During touristic activities, your needs can be met. You can see the hotels, start going to tourist activities more, and millions of tourists, millions of Muslims traveling all over the world, actually. So there are some countries that practice halal tourism. And when we look at these countries, are they Muslim? It doesn't really matter once again what we have said, but studies on halal tourism, it shows that there should be made an investment in this because there's a huge potential out of this. But what we are doing in this case, what's the reason that it's not really widely known? So the problematic aspect here is the ability to attract most tourists of the country, whether you're going to be able to meet the criteria or not regarding the compliance with Islamic rules. So it could be a problematic situation. And tourism is a penalty in some countries, but logic is the same. Halal tourism actually needs motivation and entertainment motivation it needs. And it is different from other religious tourisms. It's faith tour, we call it. For example, a person's motivation for the pilgrimage is quite obvious. When you go visit Hagia Sophia, in other words, the motivation there and intention in one's mind is to visit religious places. So Muslim-friendly tourism means that people who are of Muslim background could potentially visit this type of places, which is really near and dear to them with regard to Islamic setups and backgrounds and values. Of course, tasting the flavors, that is the modern tourism activities. In fact, within the framework of Islamic rules and beliefs, what to do is, when we look at the countries that practice halal tourism, the first one is Malaysia in the world, perhaps one of the most important countries all over the world, because in the ministerial level they have their strategies and policies regarding halal. So halal tourism is widely known in Malaysia. And of course, all statistical sources from Muslim tourists show that they're really interested in halal tourism and Muslim-friendly tourism, or halal tourism, let's say. And especially in Indonesia, it's also widely known and widely preferred way by the Muslims. And inshallah, we hope that this tourism will increase over the time. And Singapore also has significant strengths in this, and it has a significant Muslim population. There is a strong halal certification culture, and of course they're focusing on Muslim-friendly travel markets, and this fosters halal tourism as well. And it's a country where, as Muslims, there are a lot of potential available for the Muslims, and regarding the halal products, and as well as halal tourism as well. And what's basically their expectations? What is our Muslim brothers and sisters' expectations from hotels? There could be such issues discussed among nations, and one research has been done there, is that maybe they're not meeting their expectation. It could be one of the challenges. And when we were talking about the countries, I would like to mention Thailand as a destination of Muslim-friendly hotels, and they are working on highlighting Muslim-friendly tourism there. India is also continuing to work on this point, and of course they are currently aware of the potential, and they're basically attracting Muslim tourists. Why not have a better Ramadan this year? So this is the slogan, and this is the promotion that they are doing, and they're basically attracting tourists by this way. And of course, Turkey is also one of the places that Muslims prefer to come to. But unfortunately in Turkey it's not really widely known, the halal tourism. There are some other countries that we may give as the example, such as Philippines, Japan. They are also the organizers, and they inspire Muslims to the journey to halal tourism. And there are some applications that are available around the world to be able to use for halal tourism as well, and they're also attracting the tourists' interests. So sensitivities are the factors that we need to take into the consideration for the religious matters. For example, he needs to pray. is it really going to be suitable for the Muslim tourist to be able to pray at the country that he or she visits? So that could be one of the biggest challenges there. So if a Muslim satisfies himself or herself that when I will be doing my halal tourism there, when I'm going to be able to pray my prayers, 5-time daily prayer, without any obstacles, and it could be one of the preferences, and if not the most preferred preference for the Muslim tourists. And in Russia as well, it's being promoted as well in Union of Muftis. They're going to the hotels for the audit. In Dubai, in the United Arab Emirates again, they have Muslim-friendly hotel chain projects. In Canada, North America, they're also the same. At certain points, there are some Muslim-friendly tourism activities that are being carried out. And they're combining social media and meeting the needs of Muslim tourists. They're trying to be able to do that and to resolve that. And Switzerland is also known for halal tourism, quite interestingly. So what's the purpose here? It's just to attract Muslim tourists. In Gulf countries and Asia, they are actually attracting tourists from Switzerland, from those countries. And in Singapore, the mentality is the same. There are some bilateral agreements with some European countries with this regard. And for the Muslim travel guide, they're actually printing out when the Muslims want to go to those countries, which is non-Muslim, but they are being able to attract the interest of the Muslims. So at this point, Croatia could be one of the examples as well. So there are some basically publishings from countries. There are some tourism fairs that are being held, and under a panel there's a separate title for this, and all over the world this is being discussed highly efficiently in many conferences, because once again there is a huge potential with regard to halal tourism. And halal booking sites are being promoted as well in this case for Muslim tourists. And basically international tourism is being fostered by this. And there's International Halal Tourism Association in Turkey. Its center is in Antalya. The purpose here is to bring together the hotels and agencies at this point to achieve unity of power, and with structure that will consist of this union power. At least this hotel, they can express their troubles and concerns more strongly to the senior management. So this way, maybe halal tourism could be fostered. So tourism situation analysis is being carried out. And basically, as Turkey, this market to be at the forefront in the world and overcome the problems, hopefully, is going to be able to let us discover the potential, and hopefully foster it, and basically meet the expectations of sensitivity appropriately in Turkey, hopefully in hotels. Hopefully it's going to be available in Turkey as well. So I'd like to thank you so much for listening to me. And also I'd like to thank to the Gimdes team, especially in the first place our beloved Dr. Hüseyin Kağan Büyüközer, for this opportunity for me to be able to speak at this platform of 15th Halal and Tayyib Products Conference. And I hope that this will be one of the most useful presentations for our listeners. Thus, thank you so much for listening, and I hope that if you have some questions, I'd be more than happy to address them. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.